All right, welcome back everyone to the deep dive. We're diving into a specific Power Query formula today, and this one's a listener request.
Cool.
Yeah, someone out there is really curious about DateTime.Date. So, DateTime.Date, we're going to go a little deeper with this one and, go beyond the basics. Might seem like a small detail, but as we all know, sometimes the most powerful tools are the ones that seem the smallest at first glance.
Exactly. Yeah, sometimes it's that one little function that can really unlock a lot of possibilities.
Absolutely. Okay, well, the formula itself, it looks like this. DateTime.Date. DateTime as nullable date. I'm always curious when you see a formula, and for the first time, what jumps out at you?
Well, right away, I see that DateTime is any, and that kind of tells me that this is designed to be flexible. So it can accept a variety of different date and time formats, which is great because real-world data doesn't always follow the rules. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point. So it's almost like a universal translator for date and time information.
Yeah.
What about this nullable date? What's the significance of that?
Nullable date is really important. It means that the formula can handle missing date values gracefully. So instead of, throwing an error if it encounters a blank cell, it will output null.
Oh, okay.
Which is, much more useful in a lot of cases.
Yeah, it's like a safety net.
Right.
Built right in.
Exactly.
So that you don't get those frustrating crashes when your data is a little bit messy.
Exactly, yeah. And it gives you more control over how you want to handle those missing values.
Okay, so obviously we're big proponents of Power Query, but there are other ways to do this. Some people might say, well, why wouldn't you just format the date column directly in the spreadsheet? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so there might be some situations where that is a simpler approach, but I think the beauty of using this function within Power Query is it gives you a lot more control and flexibility. You can use it as part of a larger data transformation pipeline, and that can really open up a lot of possibilities.
Right, because it's not just a one-off thing. It's part of a bigger process.
Exactly, yeah.
And so you can really leverage that in some interesting ways.
Exactly.
Do you have a specific example of how you've used DateTime.Date that really showcases its power?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was working with a data set once that tracked project timelines, and the original data included both the date and the time for each milestone. But for the analysis, we really just needed the date to calculate the number of business days between milestones. So using DateTime.Date, I was able to isolate that date component and then combine it with some other functions to accurately calculate those business days, which was really critical for the project analysis.
That's fascinating. And it makes me realize this is so much more than just extracting a date. It's about unlocking these insights that are kind of hidden within your data. So I'm kind of curious from your experience, what are some of the common pitfalls that people run into when they're working with dates? And how does this function help to kind of avoid them?
Yeah, so I think one of the most common issues is just inconsistent date formats. You might have some dates in one format, some dates in another, and DateTime.Date can handle that really seamlessly.
So you don't have to do all that manual cleanup.
Exactly, yeah. And that can save you a lot of time and headaches. Another pitfall is, just dealing with those missing dates that we talked about. And as we discussed, DateTime.Date handles that really gracefully.
With that nullable date.
With that nullable date output, yeah. Okay,
so just to recap for our listener, DateTime.Date. It's a Power Query formula that pulls out the date from a date and time value. And it can handle a variety of different formats and even missing data, which makes it super powerful for data cleaning and analysis.
Exactly. And remember, this is just one function, but when you start combining it with other Power Query functions, you can really unlock some pretty incredible data manipulation capabilities.
Okay, that's a good point. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly.
And it's a good reminder that sometimes the simplest tools can be the most powerful.
Absolutely.
Well, that brings us to the end of another deep dive. Big thanks to our listener for suggesting this topic. If you are listening out there and this has sparked some ideas for you, we encourage you to experiment and see what you can discover.
Absolutely, yeah. Have fun with it.
Exactly. We'll see you next time on the deep dive.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.